Morning, Steve. You spoke last week after Barnsley about getting the performance and the goals that you perhaps deserved in the previous games. Does it now really feel like we can go on a run and start building now?
I sincerely hope so. You know, we've put, since a disappointing start, we've put we've kept 3 clean sheets, and of course, adding to that was the Kodja getting back fit. I think it's give everybody a lift. You know, and let's make no bones about it. We had a little break against Barnsley. The first goal was a mistake by their goalkeeper. Albert's own great determination to get in there, but we've got a break, and when you get a break now and again, you need it. So important week coming up. We've had a decent result last week. It's important now, with 3 games before the international break, that we accumulate a few points and get us where we want to be. If we can have a good week, it can be where we want to be coming into October. And I think that's the vitally important thing.
Albert said it's a much happier camp after 3 points. Have you really felt that this week?
Well, there's nothing like a victory that gives everybody a lift, of course. So, and what it does it breed a bit of confidence. We looked a very decent side last week, and it's important that we keep to them standards. Never easy in this league. Won't be easy again against Nottingham Forest and what we've got coming up, but a good result always puts everybody in a better frame of mind.
You've spoken in the past about how you prefer a 4-4-2. How did you feel that went last week?
I'm not just saying I prefer 4-4-2, but I've always had 2 up top. I've always thought that it's the way forward. I make no bones about it. For the best part of the last 6 months in particular, we haven't done that, but I had to stop the trend of basically getting beat. So it was all based on, and I make no bones about it, of setting the team out to be difficult to play against, difficult to beat, and try and stop the rut of results which unfortunately the club had been used to, was getting beat. So in that respect, to put a bit of resilience back, and obviously that's the way we've been set up. I do believe now, with the addition of Snodgrass and Kodja back, and the players getting back to full fitness, that we've got a squad capable now of playing 2 up top, playing a bit more expansive, and obviously trying to go into win games rather than just staying in games, because the club had won something like 5 games in 18 months. We were second bottom of the league when I took over, so it was all about staying in the division, never mind trying to get out of it. Hopefully now we're in a position where we can mount a challenge.
In the Middlesbrough game in the week, it allowed you to rest the 11 that started at Barnsley. How helpful was that? Well,
I made that decision, and obviously it wasn't the right one because we got beat in the cup, but I do believe that it's a huge, big important, and what's more important to us is the league, without question. That's no disrespect to the cup competition, but we've let the 11 players to focus on this week ahead. We've had a good week's training with them all, so I've purposely left them fresh and fit, and we'll go as we were against Barnsley.
And Forest have made a decent start compared to how they did last year. What are you expecting of them?
Good side, very, very good manager. In that transition one, they seem to be manager after manager, and Mark is a very, very shrewd appointment. Be a difficult game like they all are. I'm under no illusion that it's going to be a tough, tough game.
Injuries, can we get the latest on Jedinak, Lansbury and Hogan?
Lansbury won't make it. Scotty we think is going to be okay. Let's see how he trains today. Jedinak, it's still a little bit too early for him to.
And Gabby's groin, how is that?
Gabby joined in training yesterday for the first time, but he needs to he'll train all over the weekend and hopefully put himself in a position for Tuesday. If not Tuesday, then next Saturday.
And what's the very latest on Grealish?
Well, Grealish is in the building, which is good to see. He's had a little bit of time off because of the injury he's had. It's still ongoing. We've still got to be patient. It's still months rather than weeks before we see Jack. I know he's posted himself on Twitter or whatever that he's back, but he's got to be a little bit more patient yet.
A couple of general football questions to finish. You've been in the game a long time, obviously. What does Aston Villa v Nottingham Forest mean to you?
Wow.
European
Cup winners,
said
2 European Cup winners would be playing in the Championship, you wouldn't have believed that in my day, 20 years ago anyway. But two big clubs steeped in history and tradition, and successful too back in the day. So if we ever know how difficult it is, Notts Forest have been now in this division for what, 15 years, 17 years, whatever it is. You can do the figures, but long time. So it shows you how hard the division is.
Just finally, Gareth Barry is going to break the all-time Premier League appearance record on Monday.
Marvellous.
What do you think of him?
Well, I mean, he's been a great player over the years, and more importantly, the way he looks after himself, the way he conducts himself, the way he is fitness-wise, is testament to him, really, of what you can achieve. Been a very, very good player all his career, and well done. It's some achievement to be the all-time Premier League appearance holder. Well done him.
What do you like most about him as a footballer on the pitch?
Well, he's one of them ones where your manager you can lay your hat on him. You know, he can play in a few positions for you. He can play anywhere, really. He can play left back, centre back, middle of midfield, wherever you want to play, he can play it and gets on with it. And a very, very good, by all accounts, I've never come across him really, by all accounts, a great lad and a great pro.
Thank you, Steve.
Cheers.
Steve, just back to Grealish, you talked about it being months. Have you got? Is there a date set?
No. There's no date. Obviously, we have to go by specialists. It's a freak injury. You know, a damage to your kidneys is pretty serious stuff. So we'll be governed by what the specialists say after scans and all the rest of it. So there's no definitive. The one thing is it's still weeks away. You know, he's on the training ground and slightly jogging and doing a little bit, but not much more than that.
It must be frustrating for him and
well, any injury to your good players is always the frustration. We've had to do without Kodja for the start of the season, and Jedinak and Grealish. So, you know, arguably they were our best players last year. So in that respect, it's always been a frustration of any manager, but part and parcel, and that's why we have a squad.
We talked about the Middlesbrough game midweek. You did make all those changes, so does that mean it doesn't really affect momentum coming?
Well, look, I don't want any disrespect for the Cup, but I understand and I know that the most important thing for us is this week, in particular, 3 games in the Championship before the international break is the importance. So I made that decision. Obviously, I got it wrong because we got beat, but I still had enough experienced players, I thought, to win us the match. In the back of my mind, I wanted to have full preparation for the other 11. The other 11 now have prepared all week for this week ahead. So in that respect, it's been very, very good. I hope I made the right decision.
Next up, another game live on Sky against Forest. Is it always nice to get a good performance in front of the cameras?
Well, we haven't done it very often, I have to say, but I think the last 2 were unbeaten. So let's hope now the Sky cameras give us that little boost that we need. We played very well last week. We looked a very decent team, got the break. If I'm being honest, we got the break just at the right time. It's important now that we build on the momentum that the result could give everybody. Big week ahead, starting with Notts Forest at home. Never going to be easy. Live on the telly. Let's go and see if we can get another good result, which obviously helps everybody in the cause.
Yeah, back-to-back wins. Is that
crucial? You know, it's important. As I said, an important week coming up. I make no bones about that. And if we have a successful week, then we can be, or we will be, there or thereabouts in the division, which is vitally important going into October. You know, we've had a lot of doom and gloom, and rightly so when you don't win. So, important week coming up. Can we go and get a couple of results which will give everybody a lift just at the right time?
Nottingham Forest just escaped relegation on the last day of the season last time around.
Yeah.
Do you expect them to be in the same predicament?
Oh, they've had Mark's got his stamp on them already. They've bought a few players, lost a few players. If ever we need reminding, you just have to look at Notts Forest. Big club, steeped in history, European Championship champions twice, have been in the division for donkey's years now and haven't got out of it, and just stayed in it last year. So we're under no illusion how difficult it is, whether you've got a big name like Notts Forest or Aston Villa or Sheffield Wednesday or Leeds United. All big clubs in their own right have found it difficult in the Championship, and that's what it is. It is difficult. You know, the players are fitter and better than they've ever been before, and that's why it's so difficult to call. You can't call the Championship. You can call the Premier League off the top of your head, really. You know who the top six is going to be. Nobody can predict the Championship like that.
If you're going to look at their weaknesses, they've struggled with set pieces in defending them this season. Is that something you've been working on this week?
Not just set pieces. No, we haven't been just working on set pieces. I think every club works on set pieces. You know, defensively, I'm sure that they'll want to improve, but going forward, they're a threat. They're a threat going forward. They play in an open, expansive way, and I don't expect that to change. So it really is up to us. We've set a standard last week, and we've set a standard quite high over the last few weeks. Important that we stay there and do what we're good at, and then the result hopefully look after itself.
That history you talked about that the two clubs have in winning the European Cup, and does that history actually add that little extra bit of expectation, do you think, on clubs like Villa?
Yeah, of course it gives you the expectation, and I've said many, many times, just because you're called Nottingham Forest or Aston Villa or Leeds United or Sheffield Wednesday doesn't give you the divine right. They're all big clubs. There's lots of big clubs, all been in the big league. I think there's something like 47 clubs have now been in the Premiership now, and the vast majority are in the Championship now. They've all had a taste of it, the vast majority. And that just shows you how difficult it is. Even a club steeped in history, tradition, the Championship has no boundaries. You've got to have a team which is capable of, physically, it's better than it's ever been before. Over a period of 9 months, it's relentless. You know, we've played, by the time October comes next week, we'll have played something like 14, 17 games in a 2-month period. Quite ridiculous, really. But that's what it is. It's an endurance test and a stamina test, as well as being a game of football too.
And we talk about expectation and just how early it can come in a season. We saw last weekend Harry Redknapp losing his job at Birmingham. Were you shocked at just how early he was sacked?
Yeah, of course. Of course, and then you see Michael Brown, a young manager at Port Vale, and the Chesterfield manager lose his, and then there's people lost their jobs before that, and the season is only 6 weeks old. And the vast majority didn't play for 2 weeks. So it is what it is now. I think all of us now understand what it is. Yeah, one game away for a disaster, it seems. And I don't think that's going to change. I think that's the way the football industry is. For it to get better, then I could be here all day giving you examples, but you know, it's a very, very difficult job that we've all got these days.
Just one more thing that we're asking around the clubs on a similar theme, but obviously Mark Sampson losing his job, a big fallout from that. Do you think that there's concern that could, you know, damage the FA in terms of everything that we're hearing? Well,
unfortunately, I think like all of us, we all don't know the facts, and I think that's vitally important that the truth comes out of it. You know, it was the last couple of weeks. You know, he's been under investigation twice. Has that come to do with it or whatever? I don't think we all know the facts, so we're all speculating. I do know that somebody's lost his job in management, and then, you know, everybody out in the outside world thinks, well, it's part and parcel. It's always difficult when you lose your job, no matter whether you're a football manager or you're a reporter or a cameraman or whatever you are. Getting the sack is awful, and at this moment, you know, I think, you know, as a football manager, then I feel for the lad too.
And do you think it's a shame for the women's game having sort of...
Well, look, you can't argue with results and results. It's not results, which usually is the case in football management. Your results aren't good enough. So in that respect, you know, he's just won 6-0 the other night.
Steve, sorry, you finished this?
Yeah.
Do you know
Thank
Lee
you.
Carson?
Do I know who? Sorry, Lee Carson. Yeah, I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but I've come across him in the game many times. Yeah.
Seems very well thought of.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know whether he's changed or whatever, but it was at Brentford. He didn't enjoy the experience of being the manager, so I wish him the best of luck. He's a good football person, been around the block a long time, and got heavily involved in the coaching and by all accounts, he's a very, very good coach.
You're talking about the way the game's going with expectation and clubs panicking and stuff. Would you like to see more ex-players move to a sort of an executive level in running the club as well as
I think I've said it for many a time now. Look, you know, if Arsene Wenger can get the stick, the relentless stick he gets, then we're all fair game. All of a sudden now, the Jurgen Klopp's getting it. You know, it's his turn because they've lost a couple of games. I think it is where it is now with the demand, the TV, the constant social media, the whole thing that revolves around it is a worry for us all. My concern is not getting young lads to be in top jobs. It's to encourage the ones, because we're never going to find a young, good manager anymore, because they're all going to be put off. You know, the only one who's really gone into it, really, over the last few years anyway, is Steven Gerrard, and he's learning his reins at Liverpool. You know, when you look at the players who could go into management, they're put off by it, they go into the media. And I can understand that because, as I said, it takes you 5, 6, 7 years to get your qualifications now. And then you get thrown out after 6 weeks. Tough gig.
One more from me. The Football League clubs yesterday met to talk about the transfer window. It looks like they're going to vote in favour of closing it earlier. I guess that's probably...
Well, it's sensible. I don't think there should be a transfer window in our league, but there you go. That's another debate. It stops. We're letting the young lads go out on loan. I could do a Richie Delat going out somewhere and having games, competitive games. We haven't got any. And that's frustrating for me. I also believe that it stops where young lads going out and getting a bit of experience in the big wide world. You'd like to send them out for a week, 6 weeks, a month, sorry, 6 weeks like we used to. Instead, we've got to let them go for 4 months, 5 months, which is not healthy. So I'm all for scrapping it in our level, but don't think that'll get done either.